Hey guys, it's Crafty from Craftworks Distillery and Aussie Craft Distillers shooting the shit, and we are back. We are back from our summer holidays. Luke, are we back from our summer holidays?
It's definitely summer in here.
Yeah, it's summer.
Holiday, not so sure, but it is definitely fucking summer.
We're in a black box. So Luke, for those who don't know, local nerd, he is IT, and he's in a room that looks.
It's actually a padded room.
It is. It's a padded. It is. It's a padded black room, and it looks like he's a professional hacker. I'm just saying, you need to change the image, right? Mm-hmm. It's not a good look.
Oh.
And are you?
Yeah, are you? Come
on. Let's not expose all that.
Anyway, so tonight, our first one's they're straight out of starting block. David and Caroline.
Our regulars. Hello.
Hey guys. So we're back. Shooting the shit. The economy has turned, but we are still here. So Aussie Craft Distillers shooting the shit. We've got a big year planned. We've got some real good ones coming. And we'll talk about
special events as well.
And special events. Yeah, special events. But tonight we're kicking it off with some mates of us, of Craftworks, and they are down the road. So they are technically my local distillery. Maybe not quite, but almost my local distillery. So I'm talking about Jones Smith Distillery in Spring Hill between Bathurst and Orange. And we're with Nick and Tony. Hey, guys, how are you?
Good. Hey. How you?
They look relaxed.
They do.
They look really relaxed.
Yeah, they've already been into it.
Yeah. We got a lot of technical, difficult questions, so we'll rip into that shortly.
Oh yeah, we said that it's going to be nice and easy, but actually no, we're going to do a deep dive.
Yeah.
It's okay for you, the answers, is it?
It's like a trapdoor. You stand on it's like poof, and you're hanging there going, "That's not what I expected." And then we got in the top left-hand Brady Bunch box, the one, the only, Todd. Hello, Todd.
Howdy.
Howdy. We got a howdy.
Hello.
We got a howdy. An energetic Todd. He's pumped. He's ready to go. He's loaded with questions, I can tell.
You've had all summer holidays to
I know.
Of questions.
I've forgotten all of my questions.
We might throw you under the bus twice tonight, just for quick and giggles.
Sure, we've got the button.
Yeah, we got the button. Yeah,
all
right.
Next will be under the bus questions.
Oh, cool. Oh, hey, we can do it that way too.
I don't think I can make up a little jingle in that time, though.
Yeah,
where's my laptop?
All right, so let's kick it off. Okay, so Nick and Tony, as I said, from Jones Smith Distillery. So Tony started pretty much the same time as I started. So 2015.
2017,
yeah. Sorry, my mistake. 2015 is my IB. 2017, you're right. 2017. Yeah. And we both have Burnsy stills. Tony's got a bit more Burnsy gear than mine. So let's go back to the basics first. Let's go back to having a distillery. And guys, tell us how the hell you got into it and why the hell you got into this crazy game.
I'll let you start. You're the one. I just jumped on board.
But we bought a few acres out at Spring Hill probably 17, 18 years ago now. And as soon as they moved in, the grass was long and there was seed on it. And I thought, gee, I'd love to learn how to distill whiskey. I was always in the liquor game. And, managed pubs around Orange and had my own out in Manilda for 5 years.
Right.
And always had an interest because I was always sold plenty of whiskey, of making it. So 2017, Nick's my daughter Kylie, Nick's wife, we got together, went down to Tasmania about 6 times in a couple of months, I suppose. Looked around all the distilleries, got to meet up with a couple of nice distillers down there, good friends. Done the course, went and worked for one for a couple of weeks, and away we went. So we had a news agent before that for 10 years. So up at 2:33 every morning, and we sold that, and the kid said to me, "Dad, something you always wanted to do. Why don't you do it?" So that was when we started.
Wow.
So 2017. So you were doing this trip, what, 2016, were you? Or 20?
The
Trip
the
down
trip
to
to Tasmania?
Yeah,
No, all 2017.
Yeah.
all 2017.
Yeah.
And you opened up in 2017. So you went from this is a great idea to holy hell, you actually got your distillery up and running within 1 year.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then Burnsy, we got hold of Burnsy. He started making our still.
Yeah.
And probably halfway through it, we decided we better check on how much power we got to run this still, because we found out how much it needed to run it.
Yeah.
And we had nowhere near enough power.
Oh, no.
So, which we built the house about 8 years before, I suppose. And, I had to put a new post and power up the post. And, and all 3-phase, but we had nowhere near enough to run this still.
So what do you do? Just really quickly get a Sparky in to fix that.
Yeah, so we went to the power company and said, righto, this is what we've got to run. What do we need? And for an upgrade, which it cost us a fair bit to put it up there just a few years before, an upgrade was going to cost about $38,000. A new pole. And I said, well, right, we've got no choice. It's already underway. You better do it. And 2 months of their research and everything, they've come back to us and they were about to do it. And they said, oh, got some bad news. We're starting soon, but now it's going to cost you $78,000.
What?
And we said, why? And they said, well, I don't know whether you know Spring Hill and Orange and Millthorpe.
Yeah.
So out at Millthorpe, the Millthorpe area, which is only 10 minutes drive from our place, had some weakened power lines running through the town there. So we had to replace them weakened power lines for them to upgrade our power.
That's a very interesting arrangement.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they're more or less getting someone else to do the maintenance somewhere else
Yeah.
to pay for the maintenance. So I politely told them where to put it, and we brought a generator.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So we do
Diesel generator.
it on a diesel generator. Yeah,
How many kilowatts is your generator?
55 kVA.
Wow. Yeah.
That's big.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're still running on the generator, yeah?
Yep. Yeah, and we can run. The electrician says we can run probably another still the same size on it too.
Oh, wow.
But all it might change very shortly with the way we're going.
I had a similar arrangement. So one of the, you know where I am, Tony, the back of a pub, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the very first questions before I signed my lease was, do you have 3-phase power? And they went, yeah, we have 3-phase power. And then it was all done and dusted. And then it turns out electricians were too shit scared to actually get in and have a look at the box, because it was just like full of gremlins. And they said, there's no way you'll be able to run what power requirements you want off the existing 3-phase. And for 6 weeks, I sweated with the energy company. The power box and everything was just out the front, but they couldn't confirm or deny if we could run a separate feed to my shed. So for 6 weeks, I was shitting bricks. I really was.
Yeah, because everything was underway.
Oh yeah, no.
You can do everything. Yeah.
Let's talk about what everyone's got in their glass. We normally do that a bit earlier, so I'll go first. So we're drinking something which is it's pretty special. It's something.
Tastes all right too.
Yeah, it tastes all right, and I can't say that I've had a lot of it. This is like my first bottle. And it's really bloody good. It's a great, you get the angle right.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a great release. Yeah, it's a special release. It's called which one's it called? The Distiller's Release?
The Distiller's Release, yeah.
Yeah, and it's rum cask, finished in rum cask, yeah?
Yeah, yeah. So 2 different barrels. There's a sherry barrel put down for about, heading towards 4.5 years, a sherry barrel and a bourbon barrel, and amongst all my barrels. And I've already had a sherry release, a bourbon release, and I wanted to do something special for the distillers release. So I finished it off in a Jamaican rum cask for about 6 or 7 months. So
Really
yeah,
good.
I was going to. It's not too bad.
It's got great oils,
Mm.
and it's not pissing in your pocket, but it's one of the most aromatic whiskeys I've had in quite some time.
That's good.
We got that Jamaican barrel a little while ago, and you've been saving it for something.
Saving it just for what I wanted to do. But we kept thinking, right, because we only released that about 7 days before Christmas, and we had our other two and thought, right, and we left as long as we could in the other barrel. Then 6 months before Christmas, we put it into the Jamaican rum barrel.
And where'd you get the rum barrel from?
Jamaica.
I got it from Barrel Brokers. So it was a European oak, and it was a rum barrel. So
Right.
Through Barrel Brokers, you said.
Barrel Brokers,
Cool. Early days barrel brokers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right. So Todd, what do you got in your glass?
At the moment, I have this one.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh,
Tony, bring it forward.
is that the Chardonnay?
Or bring it back.
Oh,
Back to you. Oh, how does he focus?
No, I saw it up closer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cape Byron Chardonnay cask.
Right, yeah.
Really interesting story with those guys. So Eddie
48%.
Brook, 48%. Eddie Brook trained under Jim McEwen, ex Brook Laddie, ex out of what is it? Out of who? The new one on Isla. I can't remember. Anyway, and prior to that, one more. But Jim McEwen's actually a business partner of Cape Byron. And they've made a whiskey which, if you close your eyes, it relates back to Brook Laddie and the classic Laddie.
Yeah.
One of my favourites.
Which is it's my go-to desert island dram, and it's fascinating.
Also the original over the Chardonnay cask, I think.
Yeah, the original. I prefer the original myself too, but it's it's made in a different country, different yeast, different malt, different process, different, and somehow Jim McEwen has managed to create a linkage back to the Brook Laddie classic Laddie. He's a master distiller,
impressive.
and
That's amazing.
That is a true master distiller.
And the colour of it, like good colour from a white grape. It's good colour, isn't it?
That one, yeah. The that one I should say. That one, yeah.
You imagine it'd be a little bit lighter, but
it's quite a fruity. It's very fruity, sweet whiskey. It's very approachable, and
it's not quite as creamy as Brook Laddie, but it's still very, very nice.
Yeah, and it's got that lineage. But what's really cool about it is it's unique. All right, and that's the cool thing. A lot of Australian distillers are making unique whiskeys. So we're not making regional whiskies per se. We're making very much specific terroir distillery whiskies all around Australia.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to go on to this.
Turn that around. Back. Stop.
Yeah.
The Ale Saviour.
The Ale Saviour from Corowa. So that was during the depths of COVID. They distilled beer.
Yeah,
Bridge Road.
Yeah, from Bridge Road.
We've got some of the original Corowa too.
Yeah, Cora's they're doing some pretty amazing stuff.
That's the characters one.
Yeah, but going back to what Todd put up. So the Ale Saviour is really the first of distilled beers coming out of Cora. But there's a lot of Australian distillers who, of course, during COVID got access to beer because it was just going down the sink. You had brewers who had kegs and they had no bars. So it was like, well, fuck, what do we do with it? And distillers stepped up en masse and distilled it. What are you looking at? Who's that?
Just to everyone's saying how much everyone one and us are saying that's everyone how much they love Brook Laddie.
I am a massive fan of Brooklady. It's very much part of my DNA and what I do. So yeah, cool. All right.
I am also a fan. Just
That's a great
Look like
rhyme.
you.
Yeah.
So,
So Nick, what are you drinking? Tony, what are you drinking?
So we're drinking some of yours.
We're
Crafty.
drinking.
One of your first release.
Talk about something special. Crafties, I am. So
This is not
absolutely love it.
orchestrated, by the way, guys. Sorry, our audience of one. This is not orchestrated, okay?
We not long ago, because we had got one off you before, not long ago, finished it when he said, when we rang and exchanged, sort of bought a bottle of each other that day, and I thought, oh, good, I've got it, just a small drop left, so now recharged.
You can see the lineage between I am and I am too, can't you?
Yeah. There is a difference, and I've still got a little bit of the other one left, just a tiny little bit.
Yeah.
But just so I can compare them when we're drinking it. So I should have brought them both over this afternoon, but absolutely beautiful.
I love
Thanks.
that dark color.
Yeah.
Coffee.
Okay, you wouldn't think the percentage was 62.7.
No,
when you
that's I actually, to be honest, I put a lot of that down to the way we cut and the still and no chill filtration. And none of us do chill filtration. And I firmly believe those oils and fats have a softening effect on the heat and the alcohol.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's my belief anyway. We Todd and I over the weekend we started work on the next I Am release. We pulled down 7 barrels.
who pulled down?
All right, Todd pulled down 7 barrels.
So where are you situated at, Todd?
I'm currently at Padstow Heights, and
Righto.
I try to get out to the shed a couple of times a month to help them out. So.
Oh.
It keeps me on the street. So Todd's my right-hand man.
Mm.
He's in the business, but he's not in the business.
Yeah.
The best way to describe it. And he's
very unpaid.
He's very unpaid. He's getting a $75,000 pay increase, and he's ecstatic.
Can't wait.
I can relate, Todd. I don't get paid for anything I do either.
Him all, Kylie.
Well, people who I can't remember who said it, but it was someone at Blackgate's Water Whiskey Day. Oh, it was Ellie. It was Ellie from Karoo, and she said everyone needs a Todd in their lives.
Well, I've got a Todd and a Kylie.
Your Todd is a Nick and Kylie. That's classic. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. Let's try and do something here. We're here to do something. So you went to Tassie. You did a course. Was it the Redlands course you did, or
the Redlands course? Yeah,
Redlands course. So you came off the Redlands course, and you had a fundamental grasp of what's required, and then you talked to Burnsy, and no doubt Burnsy called you a dickhead a couple of times, like he's called me a dickhead a few times. Still does.
Yeah.
You finally got your gear. You finally got started. How did you create your craft? How did you know right at the start what you wanted to do, and how did you approach it?
Well, as I said, I went down with the Adams boys for a while.
Oh yeah,
and worked down there, and they unbelievable the knowledge. Big Adam more so at the time. Little Adam was great, but he was still building at the time too.
Yeah.
Big Adam was a paramedic, only 1 or 2 days a week, I think, and just taught me the different flavors they were putting into theirs. And we come home, and me and Nick and Kylie and Dot sat down and just studied the different grains and that we wanted in it. So then we went from there.
And when you first turned the still on,
sorry.
When you first turned your still on and you ran your first spirit, because you brewed, so you're not only distilling, you did it right off the back of brewing straight away.
in actual fact, Burnsy came up and helped me the first
You did
week.
the first one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Came
Yeah.
up and I told him what my recipe was. And he said, yeah, it's good. That's good. Yeah, it should be okay. And so he came up and stayed with us through it all, through the from start to finish.
Yeah, nice.
And has your recipe changed and evolved since that first run? Or
Barrels have. So I always like different barrels all the time. It's going to be hard to produce something like, as I said, our maple syrup finish one is just about sold out. It's going to be hard to produce that again.
Yeah.
but we'll put something different in its place. We sort of vary our smoked grain a little bit.
Yep.
So some of them will have my Pilsner malt and my and Beechwood smoked. And we'll vary the Beechwood smoke with the Pilsner. Sometimes we'll have, mostly we'll have 25% in all our whiskies.
Right.
Occasionally I'll go up to close to 40%.
Okay.
But none of them ones have been released yet. None of the
and what's driving that shift? Is that because you're aiming for a certain profile, or you've got a certain barrel in mind, or what?
Sometimes you do. You change your grain percentages based on how the barrel you're going to put it in.
The barrel I'm going to put it in. And we think, we want to try to cover a fair bit of the market too.
Yeah.
So not that it's not peated. It's not going to be heavily smoked, but it's going to be more than what our 25% is. So nearly mostly at the end of before summer gets here, once a year I'll do it. Right, I'm going to do a bit heavily peated one, so I'll have a look what barrels are coming through, and order the barrel through that I think will be suited to it. So,
but I think deep down, you create what you like to drink. So whatever we create, whatever we like to drink, we sort of try and replicate it. In the future, we're not going to create something that we don't.
No, not we
drink
don't like
ourselves,
that.
so.
I'm not an overly peated, strong peated whiskey fan. So I think something just slightly smoked is what we like going for.
I was just going to say, I think what you're doing there is you're using the Beechwood smoke to add structure as well to your whiskey. You're adding another level and complexity to it. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's what we're aiming for. We'll quite often there'll be got two sons, Nick and me will sit down, and we might try a few of the barrels that are around a 3.5 year old. We'll get a bit and blind taste them with numbers on the bottle. And gee, that's my favourite. Then and we can't we're a bit hopeless at times. We can't work out which one we'd favour. so they all suit our taste pretty well.
I'll share something with you. Hang on, just turn the mics off because this is strictly confidential. I don't want anyone to know.
Okay.
All right.
Yep,
so
we're off air.
We're off air. So last weekend, Todd and I pulled out. Todd pulled down 7 barrels, right? And we pulled down PX cask, Oloroso cask, sherry seasoned winewood, winewood charred. What else, Todd? Manzanilla. Manzanilla. So different styles of port.
Yeah.
Wine cask, right? So and we laid out the 7 barrels. But what we did is we tasted them all because we were trying to find the right vatting mix to create our next IAM release.
Yeah.
The revelation, and we both knew this, but I had 2.5 hours driving back on my own, and I was just going over it in my head.
After tasting the 7 barrels.
No, this is the next day. 2 days later.
The next day we pulled the barrels.
So we tasted all the barrels, right? But the revelation was that of the 7 barrels, the I Am mash bill flavor was the foundation flavor that ran through everything. The nuances came from the barrel. So another way of looking at it is, instead of the traditional Scottish 80% of the flavor comes from the barrel and 20% comes from whatever else, it was, no, 80% of the flavor is coming from how we craft our new make spirit.
Yeah.
And 20% is coming from the barrel.
The barrel. Yeah. Yeah, I think the barrel gets too much credit sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's your recipe and how you do it, I reckon, your cuts, as you said earlier.
I'm a firm believer that there's more to do in a new make. If you craft a new make and you use good barrels, obviously that's important. Pardon me, but it's not all about the barrel. If you don't craft a good new make, it doesn't matter what barrels you're going to go into.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, shit in, shit out, basically.
Yeah. So yeah. So you're right there. I believe it's not all in the barrel, but barrels do have a bit to play with it.
Oh, absolutely.
And things too. So
it is an element. Now we've had a question come in actually from Craig Heron. Have you tried Gladfield malt peated or Manuka malts?
Love to try Manuka at some stage.
No,
we haven't, but there are lots of beekeepers around our area. We've talked about using different types of honey and that sort of stuff.
So
we haven't progressed that far yet.
So your bumblebee or whatever you call it, Crafty, that was not Manuka honey, but it was fairly flavoursome of honey, wasn't it?
That was barrels seasoned with honey.
Barrel seasoned with honey.
Yeah, and then removed and charred, which is this one we prepared earlier.
Yeah. And that's it's funny, I had my maple syrup one finishing at the same time. Yeah. And I thought, gee, wonder, because I left it alone for a while, amazingly enough, didn't taste it. Yeah. And I thought, gee, wonder if it's going to come out, because that was, you could taste the honey come way out in it, couldn't you?
Oh, absolutely,
yeah.
The honey casts, though, it had an unusual texture. It had like a wax. It sounds, it may be just in my mind, but it had a waxy texture.
Yeah,
it actually changed the mouthfeel.
Which bumblebee?
Yeah.
It is cracked.
No. Oh, is it?
We had to release it at cast strength too, because if you added any water at all, it just completely killed the flavour.
Yeah, it just fell out.
Yeah.
It could take a couple of drops, but anything under that, it just lost its structure and its flavour. Just you almost have bitter notes coming out.
So what is your cast strength? Around 63%? This is cast 62.7, is it?
Yeah, but what we're doing now, so we're learning all the time, right? And we've been distilling since 2017. What we're learning is what barrel strength we go in and what barrel strength we come out. We're holding fairly constant. We're about 1% either or. We're not dropping massively or increasing. But what we are doing is we're dropping barrel strength. So we're barreling now at around about 60%. And I want to take it down to like 58, just on research that I've done in America, what they're up to in barrel strengths. So
why? What's your rationale there?
Water-soluble compounds.
Yeah. All
right. You get a softer whiskey, a higher ABV, you extract higher tannin content.
Yes.
So if you're after just a big hit to move a whiskey and get it across the line, 2 years with big flavour, you go high ABV and tannin extraction. But if you're trying to make something a bit more softer, a lower ABV lends that way.
Right.
But that's theory.
Well, I probably won't do that because I'm too miserable. I'll have to buy more casks.
What's your bond store like? How much room is there?
That's cool. Pardon me. Yeah. All I've got is like a 3-bay barn style shed. Was it 90 square meters? Yeah, 90 square meters.
And that houses the still, the bond store, the mash
tun,
everything. So we quickly run out of room.
So what's the plan?
Well, just recently, within the last 5 days, but not that it's given us any more room because we haven't had a cellar door. So we've been fighting with council for stage 2 since 2017. It's cost us a fortune and just keep getting a no off them. And if you make of grapes and not grain, they'd allow it. If we done this, they'd allow it. Then we do that. Then now you got to do this, and we got nowhere. So now they want us to do another $25,000 worth of surveys before they'll even consider it, and they're still saying no. So I don't know whether getting close to Orange, there's a little village called Lucknow.
Yeah, I know it. Yep.
So
halfway between Bathurst and Orange. Or
no, it's only about 6 minutes out of Orange.
Oh, really? All right.
Yeah. Okay. So we just only in the last 6 weeks we've purchased Lucknow Tavern. So
just purchased the Lucknow Tavern, as you do.
But because it come up for sale. My son emailed us and said, "Oh, you see, Lucknow's up for sale." We thought, well, gee, that might be a way around getting cellar door.
Yeah.
And so we went and looked at it, brought it home, and me, Dot, Kylie, and Nick was discussing it with a lot of negativity or whatever you say. And anyway, so I goes to bed this night after we looked at it and was lying there at 2 o'clock in the morning awake. Because I had a news agent for 10 years, I'm a bad sleeper. And I'm lying there all night, couldn't sleep. 4 o'clock in the morning, I this after we talked about it the night before, we were saying, oh, yeah, but what happens there? And 4 o'clock in the morning, I thought, bugger this, I'm going to text him now and say, yeah, I'm going to buy it. So I texted him 4 o'clock in the morning, said, mate, we'll have it. And anyway, and he happened to be lying awake at his place.
Yeah.
And he said to me the next day, I was going to call you back and have a conversation with her. And so I had to get up and go to work early the next morning because I was still working at Dan Murphy's at the time. And I got up and went to work at 5:30 the next morning. And I text Dot because she had at 7 go to work, and I text Dot and said, so what are you thinking about the Lucknow pub? And she goes, well, you know what you're doing most of the time, so what do you think? And I said, well, doesn't matter now really anyway, because I said at 4 o'clock this morning we'll buy it.
Tony, do you know what these are?
Oh.
You know what these are? Did you lose any of them in the process?
So we moved in. We eventually moved in last Friday.
Yeah.
So that's why I was late tonight. We had a fair few out in the beer garden. We've got a nice beer garden, but we used that as a cellar door that we couldn't get.
Yeah.
And it's got a back garden at 2. It's got a
bit of space.
A bit of space, and it's at the moment it's got a 2-car colorbond shed in there. And so once we get some more money behind us now, we'll knock that down, build a big shed, and I'll produce from there.
Wow.
Move it all to Lucknow. So that, as long as we've got enough power, I haven't checked the power situation.
Does it have 3 phase?
Yeah, but
if you don't check the power, Burnsy will kick your ass. You get away with it once, not twice.
Yeah. Right next door, we've got a petrol station that's just been revamped. So I'd imagine that there'd be a fair bit of power run through there, so it shouldn't be too hard to hook up to it, hopefully. Yeah, so but still it's left us short to where we're going to store our whiskey because we're still no better off. So now I've got to look for – sorry?
Until you get that shed built.
Shed built, yeah. Then I'll use AIM for the bond store, and I'll just produce out of that shed on site. So that's the plan. Whether it works out or not, whether council will allow it. So,
well, you better sell some more whiskey then.
A lot more. Yeah. I was trying to Saturday, Sunday. I was trying to push it down everyone's throat. Well, a bloke came in this morning. He goes, "Oh, So you got a distillery there. He goes, and we've got our first release on display there, which is absolutely beautiful. It's in a nice box. It's got a 350 ml of a cherry cask bourbon, a 350 ml of a 350 ml of a cherry cask whiskey, a 350 ml of a bourbon cask whiskey, and it's got two beautiful coasters made in Texas with our emblem on it, and it's got two glasses in it. Yeah. And the bloke come in, he goes, "How much are these, mate?" And I said, "Oh, they're $395 each." He's sitting down having a couple of beers. He goes, "I'll have two." I goes, "Mate," I said $395 each. He goes, "Yeah, I'll have two." Me mate, I owe me mate a few favours over here, so one for me, one for my mate. So that was a good start of the day. We're only open about now.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Hang on, Luke's
I was trying to put it up.
Trying to put it up on the screen so everyone can see it. Let's have a look.
That's
So permanent cellar door, Crafty.
Talking about
cellar door.
Oh yeah, hold on. While he's doing that, so I had a similar experience. So when we released Black Soul Beast, right, we released it in 170 ml bottles for $85.
Yeah.
And then I had some people ring me up and text me and go, "But we want it in 500 mils," and I go, "But it's
that's it. Yeah, we had one of them.
That little baby, right?
It didn't last long.
Didn't last long, yeah. So people contact me and say, "We want it in 500," and I go, "But it's in 170. Just buy a couple of 170s." And they go, "No, 500." So I went, "Fuck, it's my distillery. I can do what I want." So I bottled 24 of them, and I sold them for, I think, I'm going from memory, but I think it was $400 or $450 a bottle.
Gee, really?
Yeah, but
what did you do? Cross 170 out and put 500?
Yeah. No, this is a true story. So seriously, it was handcrafted, right? It looked really dodgy, and it was handwritten, and it had a label, and I waxed it, and I put a little tag on everything. And when I went to the Oak Barrel, because they ordered one, Scotty Fitzsimmons from the Oak Barrel looked at it and he goes, "Yeah, it's definitely handmade, isn't it?" But they all yeah, wow, yeah.
It wasn't that caliber.
No. Yeah, but that's photoshopped. I can tell.
That's
So that's all. That's all Collie and Nick's doing that.
Yeah, I thought there was a touch of Nick and Kylie there.
Class.
A bit like the gin, and we'll move on to the gin. But first, we've got to do some bus stuff. So we have a little session, a little segment.
And now it's time for Throw the Todd under the Bus.
So this is our session.
I refused to talk one day.
And then
I thought I was doing really well talking and being part of the conversation.
You don't get off, mate. You don't get off.
I'm not going to ask any questions until I get thrown under the bus. So I have something to throw in.
So what normally happens is through the course of the night, we ask questions. And then when we throw Todd on the bus, he goes, "Oh, fuck, you've asked all my questions." So he's called
under the bus first.
And pretty much every time, just below camera, he's going.
Have you got pants on tonight, Todd?
Yeah.
Go on, stand up.
No, don't.
No, come on, no, don't.
It's a family show.
Yeah, it's a family show. It's a family show.
I want to see that.
All right. Todd,
Todd,
you had the microphone, mate. Go for it.
Yeah. How do you keep your head distiller focused on what he's doing?
That is tough. If he hasn't got much time, not that anyone really does, but to find the time to actually get stuff done is hard enough. And then him and Kylie get into a conversation, and
an argument.
It's an argument usually. You can pretty much walk away and leave just right then because nothing's going to be achieved. So.
But me and Kylie, we get on so well that we think differently. So whenever there's a decision to be made, it's like World War III.
So I think he probably works better by himself when no one else is around and he's just got some time to do his own thing.
And I've got my cuts down to the T where I know exactly what I'm doing and same with the gin. Got them down to a T because I know, a lot of the times Nick's busy. Nick's a paramedic by trade. Kylie's a mum with 3 kids that need a fair bit of attention. And at times I've just simplified my cut so I know what I'm doing. If I'm there by myself and it happens, I was, ready for it. So, but I
just to find the time to actually do it.
Find the time to do it. I'm absolutely under the pump all the time. Yeah. Today, between home, the pub, getting here, I was just running just about the whole time.
How much time do you spend? How much time do you spend on the internet, on social media activities?
Not much.
He wouldn't know how to use it.
Sorry, could you just say that again? How much time on any given day do you spend on social media?
None. Probably about all I do is I got my son to put a Facebook page there for me, and I said all I want is whiskey on. Now I'm getting all these other things popping up on there, but all I do is mainly look at Crafty and the what Crafty's doing, and he went quiet for a while. I thought,
that's what I do.
Look at it. It's like you're right. It's like when home and away was on Christmas holidays.
I'll tell you a funny story. So I've started dabbling with TikTok because TikTok's more organic, and Facebook has just given me the shits. How it seems to think that I'm bald, which I am. I'm sexually dysfunctional and I'm single, and so I get all these ads on my Facebook, and I go, "What the?" And it's hijacked my Facebook completely, right? So I'm over Facebook. I don't see it as very effective. Instagram, a little bit. It's painful, but TikTok's interesting, but it's the wild, wild west. Oh, yeah. You sort of take one step in and you go, oh, and you walk out, right? Anyway, I proudly have put a lot of energy into it, and I'm really, really happy. So Abby, who started high school this week, she's got a friend, and she's 12, and she's on TikTok. And I said to her, I've got 200 TikTok followers. And she looked at me and she goes, I've got 50,000.
Well, I've got, so I'm on Facebook. You know how many friends I've got?
How many?
Dot.
He hasn't even got a profile for picture.
I don't know how to use it. I'm not, when I got the job at Dan Murphy's, more or less went to Dan Murphy's. I thought, right, that's a good way to get my product out there. By the time we got it in Dan Murphy's, it was out everywhere anyway. And there's you got to get on these pages and do these every week. That's something for you to do, something for you to fill in. I've got no idea.
Get on the book face and
the book face.
Yeah. So really, I've got no idea.
Let's get Todd. That's one question. It was a pretty lightweight question, Todd. Come on, we've been on holiday.
Here's the next one then.
Yeah, come on, hit him hard, right between the eyes. Come on, go.
Technical.
What does the standard day look like in your shed?
Well, that's a good question.
In my shed.
Yeah.
When I'm heavily into it, I like a full week when the generator's running nearly full time. A couple of years ago, I was working for Lavity Pathology, and I got home at 4:00 in the morning from a Sydney run. I started my still up, worked all day until 5:30 in the afternoon, doing a whiskey run, doing a spirit run, doing a full run. Had a shower, at the same time, I had a fire down my driveway. The grass caught on fire when the drought was there. Went down, bashed out of a doormat. That's the only thing I could find. Jumped the fence. It was going under a fence, and as I jumped the fence, my foot ended up this far away from a power line. So that's what started. I didn't realise, and so I missed it by about that far. Put it out, went up, had another shower, went to work. So my days started at 4 a.m. in a busy day in the distillery.
Yeah,
I'll finish maybe 6 o'clock at night. So
I don't think you realise how busy those days would actually be when you first start. You think,
and then you're still awake at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. messaging your
property.
Property consultant, yeah.
Now I'm not at Lavity. It's a bit easier. Now I'm not at Dan's either. So I finished up at Dan's New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
So now I've been concentrating on. I've just sold out of a couple of our gins because they've won pretty good trophies and medals. Sold out of them. So summertime I'm busy doing gin, and also occasionally through winter. But soon I'll be full on again. It'll be long days in the shed.
Cold,
absolutely freezing cold. One morning I finished work at 4 o'clock at Lavity. I parked my car at the mouth of the driveway because I left the Lavity car up there for another lady to pick up the next morning. Was driving up the driveway, it was -9. So
9.
Yeah, it was probably about one of the coldest days. But it's cold days in the shed.
That was -9, Crafty, not 9.
Yeah, I was going to say -9.
Yeah, -9.
Yeah, I thought you said 9. I thought, tropical. We get down to -4, -5. But I, as you know, I've got a little caravan which I live in, and I have for 5 years.
And did so for 3-4 months in a
complete
during
isolation.
lockdown.
Complete isolation, yeah. And it's one of those A-line caravans. Right? That you're meant to collapse it. So for the last 5 years, it's just been up. So it's been smashed by wind. And we
A-line caravans aren't designed to be up for 5 years.
Why did you buy a normal caravan?
Oh well, the day that we hook it up and pull it away, I reckon we'll have the tow bar, and the rest of it will just collapse.
Meanwhile, Todd's generally in his swag.
Yeah, or his car. He sleeps in his car. But during winter, I haven't replaced the foam insulation, so you're in bed freezing your nuts off because wind is just whistling in the caravan, and you're there and you're going, "Fuck."
So the pub won't do you deal on a room?
Huh?
The pub won't do you deal on a room?
No,
that's a whole nother story.
No,
that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Definitely not. But no, it's cool. I love my little caravan. But I've worked out that my threshold is I get down to 4 or 5 degrees, and then I don't function very well. So
the other thing with our shed is we had to double the size of our shed about 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we went from 60 squares up to 120 squares. One side of the shed, which we started off in, is all insulated and it's quite cozy.
Yep.
The other side of the shed has no insulation, so it's literally like walking into an air-conditioned room.
Freezer.
Middle of winter, it is absolutely uncomfortable.
And in summer, it's the opposite. You're in the insulated side, and if you cross over into the uninsulated, it's like there's a heat blanket. You just go, you're walking into
that was another quirky thing we discovered over the weekend.
Tell them that.
So we thought that.
Hang on. Before you do, Todd, this is strictly confidential between us.
Hey, we are back on air, aren't we?
We're what?
Oh, sure.
I'll just everything again.
Todd,
yeah, okay. Yep, go.
Strictly confidential.
Yeah. Yep. So the way we set up our barrel house, we wanted to have barrels that we thought were underperforming up high. The idea of it was to try and cook the hell out of them. some of the barrels that we pulled samples from were on the top shelf. And when I was up at the top of the ladder, it was definitely hot up there. It was a good 10 to 20 degrees hotter than down at ground level. But when we poured our samples, it was they were really cold. So the barrels are quite insulating, which we weren't prepared for.
No, it's quite a revelation. So you pop the bung, and there was a huge amount of pressure. It was like, poof. And then the actual spirit whiskey, because it was whiskey, was cold, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, that heat's good, isn't it? It pushes the whiskey into your timber.
But that's the thing. We all believe that the heat is the expansion, with the cold is the contraction. But we're in the middle of summer. It was fucking hot up there, and the whiskey was cold. So the barrel is actually providing a lot of insulation if you've got good sealing on the barrel.
Wow. That makes me wonder about. So we spoke to Willing Distillery up in Darwin.
Yeah, that's right.
And one of their things was, obviously it's fucking hot in Darwin at the best of times. And the question there is how, like, your angel share is going to be crazy. How do you keep a consistent temperature? And they were looking at air-conditioned
that's right.
shipping containers, I think it was.
Yeah.
So my thought at the moment is that we haven't had this summer, or the last couple of summers, we haven't had any like weeks of 40 degrees like we have.
40 degrees,
Maybe if we were to get a consistent temperature for a period of time, it might change.
We've barely hit 30 this year, probably 30 maybe once. And in saying that was -9 that morning going up the driveway. We had rain the night before, and it got frosty, and there's a massive frost. But normally we're around the -4, 4.5, and that too, aren't we? Normally.
So what's your altitude at Spring Hill?
It's about 900.
Yeah,
similar, very similar.
It's not far from here.
So you would get a lot of storm fronts coming through, low pressure systems as well.
You used to, not as much these days, do we? So we used to get a lot of storms once, but don't seem to get as many these days.
We had a lot of storms, and I firmly believe that those low pressure systems really put the barrels under stress, and so it's driving the spirit deep into the wood. I firmly believe that. But this year, it's been so humid in Capity. We don't normally get humidity. We're normally very dry.
Nah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what it does to
climate change.
Talking about pressure in the barrels, the first load of barrels I bought were 100 litre X 1796 distillery barrels.
Wow!
And so to get quicker maturation, I only half filled them all, and so every 6 months I tried it, and I've got over 100 barrels in the shed now. So every 6 months we've got to pull everything out, and I turn them barrels a bit just to give them a bit of fresh wood. Right. And one day I on the forklift for ages pulled them out, had them sitting on the concrete, and the sister and brother-in-law turned up. They're sitting over at the house, and they said, "Come over and have a beer. We've got a beer here for you." So I'm over having a beer, and it was a fairly hot day. It was summer, probably 2 summers ago. I'm sitting there having a beer, and next minute we've got bungs coming towards us, and it's like a good 30 metres away, probably would say. A good 30 metres away, we've got bungs. So the pressure is building way up in the barrels, and poof, the silicon bungs are just flying everywhere. So I had to go back and put them all away. So
the other one is when the bungs get sucked in. So we used to use the bungs that they didn't have a lip on them, and so the bungs would go, and it'd be right into the wood, and they were a bastard to get out. So we started working on using the lipped one, so at least the lip goes and it can't get down. It stops it from going down.
Right, wow.
For those that don't know, these are little tricks of the trade that you learn as you go along.
Yeah, so it was actually sucking them in.
Yeah, sucking them right in deep, mate.
Right.
Right in deep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that shows you the internal pressure buildup. It's
Yeah.
it's actually quite phenomenal. It's
And it's good. It keeps cool, though, isn't it?
yeah.
Right.
No.
Have you noted whether it's different with different styles of wood?
No, that's too.
Between,
Give us some.
come on.
Oh, Jesus.
Honestly, if you're gonna make an observation, make a fucking proper one.
I thought you were speaking technical enough earlier. Now
There's a lot of research in that.
We were very fortunate. So we got a very good mate. He's my mate. He's my mentor, and he's a master cooper, Andrew Young, right? And over the years, I've learnt a lot through Andrew, and we've done trials on toast and char. It's been great. And 2 weeks ago, we went to Murray River Cooperage, which is the new cooperage down in Corowa, and we met John Carberry. And John is Scottish, and we spent a day in the cooperage and we learned a lot. It was fantastic, right? And John's become an instant mate. But the funny thing is, John and Andrew, they're both master coopers, and they're of the same type of personality. Their outlook on life is very similar. They're both fucking funny, but yeah. If how do they get onto that topic? I can't even.
I'm not.
No, I was going
You
somewhere.
had a direction.
Yeah. So we're talking about barrels and how barrels work and barometric pressure.
you done well to pull that back in. I'd be 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the morning. I'd remember that.
But no, there's a lot of science, there's a lot of logic, and there's a lot of black arts in putting barrels together. And I recommend any distillery, any distiller, doesn't matter if you're a brand new distiller or a seasoned distiller, go and spend some time at a cooperage. Wood's so fundamental to us making good product. And the more you understand about wood, the more you have those, that's why that happens. It's
We were lucky enough a couple of years ago. I've got a winery not far from the pub, the hotel that we bought, and Gerald, a beautiful wine he's got. And he rang me up one day and he goes, "You need the barrels coopered." He goes, "I've got a travelling Frenchman just come through and he's a cooper." Ooh. So he stayed at his place for a month, I think.
Wow!
And any barrels we had done, he done them in front of us. It was unbelievable. Just pull them apart in a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Put them back together, and after you done what with them in a couple of minutes,
you recharge them.
Recharge them. Put them. You put them back to after you shave them. Put them back together, and it didn't take long at all. Then set fire, whatever. If it's European oak, you put European oak inside it, set it on fire to give it the same flavour. Yeah. It was absolutely unbelievable to watch.
Wow,
he didn't speak a bit of English, but he was good to watch.
That's a lucky experience. I will tell you another experience, and this is how not to do things, and this is how I did things.
Do I need to go off air again?
Yeah, we don't want anyone to know. This is all strictly confidential. Shh, everyone, all right? So I had
towers of distilleries.
I had 2 bourbon barrels that were falling apart, right? And so I said to Andrea, my partner, I said, "Look, we're going to go down to Murray River Cooperage. Let's break these barrels down because we're taking 5 barrels down to the shed, down to the cooperage to do some work on them, and we don't have enough space." And so I started to break the barrels down, and I had 2 bourbon barrels. I chalked one, and I didn't chalk the other one. I chalked the headwoods on one, and I didn't chalk the other one, right? So in my mind, I had 1 bourbon cask. You could identify all the chalk marks, and I had one that didn't have any chalk marks. And Andrea said to me, "Do you need to label the staves?" And I went, "Nah, he's a cooperage. He'll know what he's doing," right? So collapsed the barrels, right? Laid them all out, and I went, "Bugger me. It's a 200-litre barrel. If you lay all the staves out in a row, it's 2 meters." I was
Really?
like, yeah, I was quite surprised. So anyway, so I bundled them all up in plastic bags, take them down to the cooperage, and John, straight off the bat,
What was his opening line?
you carry on the story.
After good morning, what was his opening line?
You tell them.
Yeah. I hope you numbered those staves.
And why?
Well, basically, the staves fit together like your knuckles, sort of thing, and they fit in like a jigsaw. So when they're out of kilter, there's a possibility that they'll now leak. So to fix it, he has to shave them all off again, was my understanding.
Yeah.
Put the barrels back together. So you end up with a slightly smaller barrel than you started with.
You lose about like 10% of the volume.
Yeah.
So that was a dickhead moment.
Or because you didn't use a bit of chalk.
That was whoopsie.
Yeah. And I told Andrea, and she just went, yeah.
That told
Told you so.
So speaking of that, and how much time we got? Because we've got to get on with you, Jen. But I want to know your biggest fuck ups in the shed.
My biggest.
Oh, we're okay. We're going to go another half an hour. So, what's your biggest fuck ups in the shed, and your biggest learnings?
Probably the worst thing that happened was, so when I'm filling a barrel. So I've just finished the spirit run. When I'm filling a barrel, I get the forklift in, lift up above the barrel, put a funnel in the barrel, lower it down so it's filling the barrel up. Yep. And my forklift, the handbrake is non-existent. A bloke came out there one day to do a what they do, the scales. They calibrate the scales, and I said, right, I'll leave it with you. I'll go inside. I went back out and he goes, the handbrake doesn't work. He goes, I pulled the handbrake on, got off it, and it started to run away. I goes, no, I meant to tell you that. So I've got a block of wheel I normally stick under the wheel. H&S people listening. And anyway, so the biggest bugger up was one day I've done this spirit run, so that's going to go into that barrel on it. Had it run into the barrel, went inside to make myself a cup of coffee, come out, and the forklift ran backwards. So it's all over the ground.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Lost a bit of brandy once too.
Lost a bit of brandy once too.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I have to, because it's totally relatable. So you mentioned, your fork hoist that doesn't have brakes, right? So when I finished brewing, my spent grain went to a farmer, and he used to collect it. And then one day he said to me, mate, I'm sort of on the way home from when you head back to Sydney. Could you just drop off and I'll unload it off the ute? And I was like, yeah, well, all right, okay. And then it went from, mate, I'm not home right now. Can you use the forklift yourself and take your grain off, and can you put it over there for me? So it was like, fucking hell, I'm giving him free grain, right?
You're a farmer.
He's added an hour to my day and doing this. But the problem is
he stopped when he asked him to feed the animals.
No, it wasn't quite that. His handbrake doesn't work. So the amount of times I've bashed into the back of my ute, right?
Is that the old ute or
the new one?
Oh, the shit.
So you put the door up and it's all bent, and it's like, for fuck's sake, I give you the free grain, it destroys my ute, and I've got an hour's extra journey. Right.
My first 6 months with the distillery operating, I brought a new Holden Colorado. Yeah. So had it there, and it had the tub in it. So the tub, not a tray. So going up, and you only had to bump it a bit, and it pushed the shit out of me tub and couldn't close the back or anything. So I had a Trojan tray put on, so it cost me about $4,500.
Oh, shit.
I'm pretty useless at times.
Let's change the subject.
Shall we move on to gin?
Yeah, gin, because gin for you guys, when you broke on the scene, the first thing I would say is your bottle just was a wow bottle.
Yeah,
That's a
definitely.
wow bottle by anyone.
That's Kylie again. Anything smart, it's Kylie and Nick
It
does
looks
it.
good. Yeah.
So
Nick,
It looks lovely.
it's stunning.
It
But
does,
Nick,
yeah.
you're on the website as the inventor. What does that mean?
Oh, that was done a long time ago.
Oh,
I'm always just coming to Tony with ideas about what we should do.
Oh, Nick, yeah,
way
yeah.
to come up with things. And
Yeah.
none of it gets done. But
So Dot's the what? The
That's the realist.
Oh yeah, reality check manager, Todd.
that's always saying
Tony's-
we should do that.
Doer.
Tony's the doer.
Everyone needs a
Right.
reality check manager.
And Nick is the inventor.
I had someone in at the pub today, and I'm saying, like, this handyman, he's a builder by trade.
Yeah.
This is what I want there, and this is what I want over there. I want to change a few things. Dot's going,
She
just
just
look at that bank account.
She looks at the dollars.
I said,
Reality check manager.
I always believe to push myself to the limit, and
It's only money.
and I'm already past the limit. So
All right, let's go back to Jen. I digress a bit. So
Yes.
so when you guys pumped on the scene, it was, and I remember seeing your bottle, and it was just like, wow, it was just a work of art, and your gin is a work of art. So
Well,
tell us your gin story. Where did it start? Where are you at with it now? Where do you be in the future?
Well, gin started for us as a sort of, it was just a in the meantime type thing.
Yeah.
Before we could get to our whiskey, and we just, we were just like, well, we've got the still, we've got the space, let's do something. And then it turned out to be much more than that for us.
So,
we ended up creating the signature and the navy straight up, and it turned out to be something pretty special, and people really loved it. They loved the bottle, they loved where it came from, and it just sort of, it took off. It's won both of those, plus the cherry and the slow have won.
The four won like good awards. So.
I think we were pretty surprised about how good it was.
The funny thing is more to tell the truth, we were going broke because we were waiting for the whiskey to mature, and we were running out of money. So we thought, shit, we've got to get a bit of money coming in. So that's when we said, right, we'll send away and got like half a dozen bottles of Australian gin, and different gins, and I'd sold a heap in my life. It was only desperate old housewives that used to buy it years ago when I was in the liquor game.
It's the drink of choice.
Now it's the drink of choice. Yeah. And we said, right, we've got everything going out, nothing coming in. So how about we do a gin? So
and he ummed and ahed for months and months about a recipe and botanicals, and I just said, like, bugger this. I'll just go, like I said before, we'll just go for something that I think that I would like. So I sat down and we just wrote down what botanicals we would like, and we put it all together and we tested it a few times until we came up with something that we enjoyed.
So we got a little 4 litres still, I suppose.
Yeah, right.
So
we
and of course, every time we do a gin run, we do a 400 litre gin run. Even though we've got a 1280 litres still, we bring it down a bit.
And you're doing it on your pot still, right?
Yeah, on the pot still. Yeah. So we practiced for about 2 months on this little 4 litres still, different grains, different botanicals, and we go that right.
Get rid of that, or we'll put more of this in.
Yeah.
But you finished on 17 botanicals.
Yeah,
that's a big recipe.
Yeah.
So how did you? And I'm fascinated with gin. For us, gin is something that it's not our main thing. For us, we're very fortunate. We've got good friends.
What wasn't going to be for us neither.
Yeah, but you've grown it out, and it's great. Fantastic. But the limited knowledge I have with gin is gin's very akin to cooking. It's very akin to getting the balance right, and getting the layers right. And the great thing about gin is it's very instantaneous feedback. So you can continue to develop, unlike whiskey. So how did you get the balance? Where are you coming from, a cooking background, or did you do single shot distillations and then taste them, or
you got a lot of inspiration from Adams, who create award-winning gins as well. So I think you took a lot from what they were doing.
They helped me a lot. It helped us a lot with Gin Adams.
So we based a little bit of our recipes on sort of how they were creating it, and then we just added what we thought would work well, which obviously didn't come off perfect straight away, but we kept trying.
Kept tweaking a little bit. Our Navy gin has got 20 botanicals in it, so.
But even with that Navy, we've tweaked it recently too, based on feedback from Australian Gin Awards
and the Gin Awards. So 2 years ago, it got silver at the Australian Gin Awards, and we thought, gee, that's pretty good. But they let you know the comment it was outstanding, but just maybe a little bit more of this, a little bit more of that. So we tweaked
feedback on.
And we got #1 overproof gin this year, or just before Christmas.
No, congrats. You've said something there which it really resonates with me. You're very humble in your approach to how you craft your spirits, right? You're not arrogant and like, I know what I'm doing.
No.
It's like we're learning, and as we learn, we'll get better and better and better. So you respond to feedback, and that's
Well,
the feedback came from people like Bill Lark and people that have been in the business a lot longer than we have. So I think we'd be silly not to at least consider that feedback and try some of the things that they're asking you to do.
So not long ago we had to go down to Randwick for the award for the trophy, and I think the judges then, I said, this is what you told me and this is what I've done. So it's gone from there to there, and thank you so much for doing it. Thanks for giving us the feedback. And that's
really cool. Let's talk about gin, and let's have a I won't say a reality check, but I went to a shop. I went to a First Liquor shop about 3 months ago, and I wanted to buy a gin, right? And I didn't want to drink mine. I didn't want to drink Karoo. I didn't want to drink Ashling. I wanted something different, right? And so I walked in, and there was like 3 bays of Australian gins and 1 bay of imported gins. And I sat there and I looked at it, and I went, there's gins on the shelf, 3 or 4 bottles from distilleries that I don't even know, and some that I know. How the hell do people move gin in that environment? Because I know a lot about the Australian market, and I'm confused. So your average consumer, the question is, how do you punch through in a retail environment? And with 1,000+ gins, have we reached saturation?
For us, it's more about the local market.
The label.
We don't produce huge amounts that we need to push it into national bottle shops. We push it to local retailers and bottle shops who people want to buy local and want to buy good product. So I would say a lot of our product goes just locally. We do send the odd stuff out of area, but the majority is local. That's where we push our market.
A thing too is, you talked a bit earlier about how we took on board what the judges and that said. When we were at the gin, the award day for our Navy gin, so we went there for our Navy gin that got the #1 Navy gin, and it was at Randwick Racecourse. So, and next door was the Gin Palooza, the Sydney Gin Palooza, and so they give us all entry. They put a red sticker on us, give us entry to the Gin Palooza, and we've walked into the Gin Palooza, and I'm going around tasting everyone else's gin. This after the award thing was over, and tasting everyone else's gin, and they'd start telling me what botanicals were in it, and a lot of them were 6 and 8 botanicals, where ours has got 17 and 20. And anyway, they noticed the red sticker on me that they give us for entry, and they goes, "Oh shit, sorry, you'll be in the Gin Awards. We can't tell you anything." I goes, "Nah, I want to listen. I know nothing. I want to listen to what you do, so I can better what I'm doing now." So, there was about 60 different stalls at this Gin Palooza.
Yeah.
And as soon as they'd see the red sticker on me, they wouldn't tell me. But I was there to learn because I know nothing.
Take the sticker off.
Yeah,
Take it off. Put it in your pocket and then put it back on again when you need it.
It was funny. My son and his mate were with us, and they go, "Oh, right, you've just got an award. We can't." And they'd start saying, "Oh, yeah, well, this is what I do. This is what I do," and then it's never been in the distillery at all. they were getting on the bandwagon. But anything that anyone told me that day, I took in, and because I know how slow and our Navy's got it, but now I want to try to get it with I reckon I've got a cherry batch I'm about to barrel now, and it's bottle now, sorry, and it's unbelievable compared to our last cherry one, which got silver.
Beautiful red colour.
Yeah, wow.
Oh, well, that red colour that you can see there's from our old one, and this new one is so much better.
Yeah, right.
I've done
So
a small batch.
on top of the cherry, you've got 17 botanicals.
So the cherry and the
website.
So the
Pop
cherry
it up
and the
for us to see.
Sorry, Todd?
Pop it up for the rest of us to see, please.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Why are you doing,
All right.
why are you doing that?
So really, the cherry and the slow make 18. So that's an extra botanical you put on there.
So the cherry and the slow, the base gin is the
Is
signature.
that dry? Yeah.
And then we add the cherry and the slow to steep.
So really, yeah. So really, they've got 18 botanicals in them.
Oh, fuck, it works. Look at that.
Oh,
That's what happens when you have an IT person.
oh.
So
We even go over the side.
That's going to
See, that's
Look at
why he's
that.
here.
Yep.
So yeah, you think that's got good colour in it? The new one is twice as good, I reckon.
Oh, wow, we're going to have a bottle of that. That's
So
beautiful
for
red colour.
when's that coming out, Tony?
probably a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So that one there, it took us about six and a half days to pick every single cherry that went in it.
And they're all local orange
Oh,
cherry.
wow.
All local orange cherries. But before Christmas, a busy time of year, and Doc goes, "But we're too busy to do this." So luckily the cherries late.
Reality check, manager.
yeah.
So that colour's nothing compared to the new one. I reckon the new one will derail the slow for the best fruit flavoured gin.
Wow.
And
also, so the ABV on that is 33.5. Where do you think the new version will be?
It'll be something similar.
Probably, I think it's about 31.9.
Right.
Yeah.
So we make it slower to be able to either drink
And
straight by themselves or
you're pitting the cherries?
Pitting the cherries.
Oh, well.
One by one. And when you got 120 kilos of cherries.
We were talking the other day. I rang you up and you said, I got to go. I'm in the middle of pitting cherries. And you were trying to work out how you could have enough to eat and have enough to eat and enough to make the product.
One cherry for me, a cherry for
No,
me,
I'm
a
sick of
cherry
it.
for Flo.
I don't want to see another cherry into the next batch I'll make.
So, how many cherries did you eat that day, do you think?
Well, this batch I've put down now, I would say this batch, the last batch I've done 120 kilos of cherries to get me through 2 years. So I made a bigger batch. This year I've only done a batch to get me through 1 year. So I've got 60 kilos of cherries.
Right.
So I bought 80 kilos of cherries and I reckon I ate 10 kilos between the orchard and then that was it. That was it, no more.
Look, it's a hard job, but someone's got to do it.
Yeah, it's called
Oh,
quality
well,
control.
yeah.
Quality control.
Yeah.
Can you put us down for one bottle, and we'll take it to Epic in the Valley, in March 10th event if it's available.
Which I told you I can't make it this year, Crafty.
Yeah. I understand, but I'd like to have a bottle at the event around the campfire. I think that would be very, very cool. Really cool.
I'll send one out to you.
Thanks, mate.
I'll bottle it especially for you, even if I haven't got it bottled, I'll bottle it for you and send it out to you. So
Put a smiley face on it.
put it on the label.
Yeah. So we got time for another throw Todd on the bus? Go.
Oh, fuck off.
Shit. You threw me under the bus.
And now it's time for Throw the Todd under the bus.
Okay.
Okay. So it's a question that should have been asked earlier in the night.
We were just trying the other whiskey now.
Oh, which one are you on?
So I don't believe this question was asked at the start. It was asked of others, not necessarily of you.
What's your tax file number?
What are you guys drinking tonight?
Oh, we did.
No, not them.
I thought I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
Crafty.
The IM.
Yeah,
The IM was that.
yeah. I was drinking that.
Just checking to see if everyone's awake.
Yeah. What was the second one you're on?
And also, the second one was just poured it down. Oh, shit,
The first time we've tasted it.
So we haven't tasted this before. I fill my glass up more than Nick's. But so this is not even bottled yet. I ducked home from the when I left the pub.
Yeah.
When he whiskey thief stole some. So it's 63.4%
In the barrel.
It's in Australia, the barrel, and it's the European Burgundy cask.
Oh, look at the colour.
Yeah. So it's 100 litre barrels they had it down in. So when I first started, so it's only a couple of months short of 5 year old.
Oh, 5.
Nice.
And
nice.
And I've been laying awake through the night thinking, shit, right, I'll try them too. So I've only got 2 barrels of it, 200 litre barrels, and it'll be our next classic collection, which is, I don't want to say the cheaper version because the maple syrup one is the lowest price of our 3, but it's most popular, and I'm thinking now I should have left it over 50% and maybe put a bit more on it. But this one I'll bring down to maybe 49%, and that's why we got 3 different grades, and that's why I'll bring it down to under 50% for that. But it smells absolutely good.
So what do you think, Nick? You're tasting it, so straight out of the barrel.
Yeah,
60% right now. What's your take on it? So
it's far different to what we've had.
Yeah.
It has
this is one of the heavier smoked ones too. So it's about 30. I think it was about 37.5% smoked instead of 25.
You can definitely taste that smoke, but it's also quite smooth as well. So,
but the smoke is in the back or the smoke is in the front?
I'd say the front.
On the front, okay.
Yeah.
And it's beechwood smoke, you said, didn't you?
Beechwood smoked, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, nice. Mate, this is really, really cool. The more we talk to particularly Australian distillers, but also international distillers, the more we're shattering the illusion on whiskey that all whiskey is Scotch. We're in Australia. We don't have a massive amount of regulation on the way that we can make our whiskies, and it just gives us such a competitive edge to fucking play and make some amazing whiskies.
That's what we find too. Like you're so like just with your barrels, like you can just open your market right up to choose whatever barrel you want.
That Chardonnay one I'm interested
like
in.
you can just make it in so many different ways. You're not constrained by a particular way to make a certain product, and you can just have fun, and it's a craft, so you can actually just go out there and have a bit of fun with it.
Our first barrel will fill as soon as we start distilling again in probably towards the end of March. I've got some Grand Marnier barrels.
Wow.
What do they smell like?
Incredible.
Oh, unbelievable. It took me about 2.5 hours to get the bung out of it. It's got on temperature, but it smells good. Yeah, it smells real good.
I was just thinking of a question of if you had, what would be your dream barrel? But then you've gone and said Grand Marnier. So, is there another barrel type that you would like to try if you had to try?
I've got some European muscat barrels that have got whiskey in.
Yeah, I love looking at the barrel broker list. You go through the list, and I think that's where the muscat barrel came from too. And you look at it and you think, oh, I wonder what whiskey coming out of a barrel like that would create, or the Jamaican rum. It's the flavour, and it's like, I need to make it now so I can go and taste it, just to see what it would be like.
So now we're finishing a Jamaican rum cast too. We've also filled a couple of Jamaican rum casts for full term.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
I had a Lefroy. I think it's 100 litre, Todd, from memory. Yeah, and it was falling to pieces. So I got it from Robbie, right? And it was at the back of the shed. And what I wanted to do was take our I Am flavor profile, which the best way to describe it is choc, cherry ripe, and peanut brittle, and smash it together. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Couple that with a punch in the face.
No punch in the face. Not at all. And I wanted to finish it off for a couple of months in a Lefroy, just to drive something through in the heat of summer, right? So anyway, we took the Lefroy down to Murray River Cooperage. John did his magic.
Did you hear what John said about that particular barrel, by the way?
What?
Because the way they shrunk it down, they changed.
Oh yeah. Here's a great Cooperage story.
Size. So if you increase the headwood size again, you increase the size of the barrel. The staves stay the same.
No, right?
Say that again. Slowly. So everyone's got that.
So the way the barrels, they reduce the size of the headwoods when we got the barrel. So it's quite a long, skinny sort of barrel.
Yeah, right.
What John was saying is that what you can do, because they did this and just reduce the size of the headwoods, if we increase the size of the headwood again, we can increase the size of the barrel.
Because of the curvature of the staves. Right. So it goes like this. Yeah. That's the best way to describe it, right?
Yeah.
And because it's like that, what Todd's saying is they can pull the headwoods and put bigger headwoods, and because of the curvature of the wood, they can actually enlarge the barrel.
Yeah. So what's that new timber touch though? What has it been on?
Oh, well, the new timber would probably be American oak or French oak or something, and char, but it wouldn't be the original Lefroy. No. Yeah. And we didn't modify it. We just got John to tighten the hoops, and we pressure tested it, and it's good. So we're actually going to drive probably some I Am through it.
That would be good, wouldn't
it? Well, that's what Hobart Distillery, John Jarvis, he's done some good work with the Lefroy cast, and Chrissy Lark in Clara. He's had some amazing. Yes, John, we know you're there. John's there.
Well, he was there earlier.
Sir John Jarvis is there.
He was there earlier. Whether he's still here, I don't know.
Oh, okay. And Chrissy Lark, she released a Lefroy finished cast, and I think she only had it in there for like 3 months or something. Yeah. It's pretty good.
The really cool thing about this barrel, though, is that we thought we'd dried it out and killed it. But when we steamed it to try and seal it up again, it just smelt that really Lefroy smokiness.
I saw them actually. So you've got a steamer there as well, have you?
Yeah, a little Bunnings steamer. And that works fine. It's but I'll tell you a little secret. This is strictly confidential.
Shit, we're not going to have anything to actually put out live.
Especially since I forgot to turn it back on after we paused it.
We've been off this whole time.
So we're going to go to BWS, right? And we're going to go and buy 2 bottles of Lefroy 10, and we'll throw it into the barrel to re-season the wood, right? Now, could you do that in Scotland? No way. Can you do it in Australia? Fuck yeah. You're not doing anything wrong, right?
Nah.
And
you can't do it in Scotland?
No, you couldn't do it in Scotland. But you're re-seasoning the wood.
Yes, we will tip the whiskey out of the barrel again before
we'll leave it for the wood to soak it all up.
After that, whatever's left over, it's not going to be.
No, whatever's left over, you out, and then you will consume it.
Yes, it could be a bit ordinary.
There's got to be some. You can try everything that comes out of a barrel.
Yeah. Have you done anything with a chartreuse barrel yet?
Oh, that would be interesting.
Well, I feel
strictly confidential
barrel up just before Christmas.
You got one?
Yeah, I got a couple of them. Yeah.
What, from Robbie or
green or yellow?
Yeah, Robbie. I think I got them from.
And I got an Armagnac barrel from Robbie. I was after an Armagnac barrel for years. It was a bit of a thing for me. I love Armagnac. And then I was talking to Robbie one day, and then 4 months later, I get a phone call from Robbie and goes, "Your Armagnac barrel's here." I go, "I didn't order an Armagnac barrel. I didn't think I could order an Armagnac barrel."
well, I've got
that's
chartreuse. Whoa.
Yeah. So I'm a bit excited about how it's going to turn out. I've got
yellow as a finishing barrel.
Sorry,
you're going to fill it?
Quiet.
Hang on, Todd.
Saying something.
All right.
Todd's talking.
Todd,
I've got the stick.
Shut up.
Where's the conversation stick? Hang on.
Here it is.
Todd,
can you see it?
Todd, grab
so shut the truck up.
Grab the glass. It's the conversation stick.
I've got it in my hand. Just be quiet.
This side, the other side. Anyway.
I've forgotten the question.
Oh, yeah, do it again. Do it. No, hang on. Yeah, hang on. Here we go. And I'm passing you the glass. Go. No, the other side, you dickhead. The other side. Oh, for fuck's sake. Yes, he got it. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Inside joke. Speak.
Can I come and work at your distillery?
Well, I'd love it, Todd, at my distillery.
He won't pay you though, Todd, so don't worry.
What's new? It seems to be going around in the area.
And
your chartreuse. Do you know if it was yellow or green chartreuse? Because they're quite different. Green, fantastic.
Green, I'm pretty sure they said.
Wow.
Yeah, just offhand. And speaking of your almanac that you like, I put a gin about 14, 15 months ago. So I done a batch of our dry gin, put it in a cognac barrel.
Ooh.
And so I'm going to have an aged gin come out soon. And I've just got to get time to bottle it.
This is confidential. Cone of silence.
You look at it; it's a beautiful goldy color.
Imagine.
And you taste it, and you'd swear one of your biggest botanicals is ginger, but we haven't got ginger in our botanicals. But it's absolutely beautiful.
Wow,
interesting.
Yeah. So it's going to be the worst. It's in about a 250 litre barrel, but I think I've got 180 litres in there, so it'll sell when I release it. It'll sell out quickly, but it's looking and tasting beautiful, isn't it?
Sounds very special.
Cool. What are you going to say, Luke? You want to say something?
Just saying, I'm really sad. I've just killed my bottle of King Lake.
Oh no!
Yeah, King Lake's one of our. We haven't actually had Chantel and Sam on Shooting the Shit,
but we're going to.
We're going to.
We are going to.
They shit ton of their product.
I've bought a bit. I accidentally bought 2 bottles at once, and now they're both gone.
Another great Australian distillery that's doing stuff.
Yep.
And doing their own thing and finding their own way.
Mm.
And that's what's really exciting. And we're talking specifically whiskey. There's so many Australian distilleries making their own style of whiskey.
Yeah.
It's not a marketing thing.
In the future, instead of people saying, "Oh, this is the Scotch whiskey," over in Scotland, they're going to be saying, "Is this an Australian whiskey?"
Mm.
We'll take them over one day.
Absolutely.
There's more times about.
I firmly believe that. I firmly believe Australian whiskey is the next big thing. It used to be the Japanese whiskey, but I firmly believe it's Australian. And so Travis, who's doing Whiskey Capital whiskey show in Canberra this week, I can't remember the exact quote, but it's along the lines of, we're going to have some great Australian whiskies, New Zealand whiskies. There might be a Scotch as well. And I'm not bagging Scotch. I love Scotch.
Yeah.
That's how we all got in the game in the first place, really.
Exactly.
Well, when I left in Murphy's the other week, they brought me a 23-year-old Johnny Walker.
Oh,
and
that might be almost worthwhile trying.
Hey?
That might be almost worthwhile trying.
Yeah. Well, hopefully after.
Have we started to play again? Oh, bugger.
we're back live again.
Yeah, we're back live. Yeah. Start recording, yeah.
And there goes a fucking sponsor.
Diageo was so close.
We almost had them. Sorry, guys.
I had them for like $1 million and like
we're fucked. That's it. The show's over. Right,
on that note, the show should probably be over.
The show should wrap up. Yeah. Guys, this has been an amazing one. It's a great episode tonight. It's straight out of the box. It's Aussie Craft Distillers, not fucking around. This is what it's all about. It's just conversational. People that watch this or listen to it as a podcast, it gives them a real insight to what we do, how we operate, and
why the fuck you endure it.
And why we endure it, and just the cool shit we can do.
Absolutely.
I can't believe we got through an hour and 3/4 probably, and Nick's kids haven't been in to jump all over him.
There's one episode, if you had to pick one episode to watch of Shooting the Shit, apart from this one, it would be our Waterford episode. So it went for 2 and a bit hours.
It was long.
Irish head distiller of Waterford in Ireland, of course. And in Edgar, and it just went from the start to the finish.
For us, it was late. For him, it was early.
Yeah. It was 9 o'clock in the morning for him,
and he was dramming on.
But that was just freewheeling conversation and incredibly informative.
And you could understand it being Irish.
Yeah.
Most of it.
Yeah. He wasn't too bad.
Maybe 50%.
No, I'll give him 30.
I might put my headphones on while I'm behind the bar tomorrow and listen to it.
Yeah, no, you'd love it, Tony. You'd love it, mate. It's an awesome episode. But this one tonight, guys, fantastic. Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we've got your website there, so
sponsors, even though they're not paying.
No, fuck that.
Okay.
No. The sponsor's got to pay. Absolutely. I'll play bad cop.
Yeah, you can be bad cop.
I'll be bad cop. I'll be bad cop.
Okay. How much was on the
like
we better start chasing barrel brokers because they got a fair bit of
Yeah,
Robbie.
Yeah. Tomorrow, mate, pay it. Okay. We got your script in the post. It's okay. We did it tonight.
Yep.
And Crafty, I'll send you a bottle of Sloe now. Cherry.
And
the cherry one.
Reserve that cherry as well because that sounds amazing.
That'll be passed around at the camp, the Epic and the Valley camp.
Definitely. So
in honor.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for joining us. We've got the website on the up on the screen, Jones and SmithDistillery.com.au. we have coming up Epic in the Valley.
Oh, this is it. Yeah. Or we could do our own advertising.
We could do our own advertising
for free.
Yeah, look at that.
Absolutely.
So we've got Epic in the Valley, and look at that. We even have a graphic.
There we are.
So the 10th and I've
No, 10th to 12th of March.
Yep, all right. So we've got the 10th.
Who's your IT guy?
Huh?
Yep. I'm great at IT. I mean,
is that the image I had? Oh yeah, it is. Carry on. Yeah. Go. Talk.
I hope so.
Talk.
Is that accurate?
Yep, looks good to me. Go.
All right, good. So 10th to 12th of March. Hit up the Facebook. There are links there to get to buy tickets. It's a family-friendly event. We've got a whole heap of shit going on.
And can I just add, see that photograph down in the bottom right-hand corner?
Yeah.
Because of that, of the three amigos there, because of that photo, we're going to have a quiet area.
Hey, Crafty, sorry, they putting the pizza on again this year?
Putting the what on?
The pizza, yeah.
Pizza.
Pizza's on. Yeah, on the Saturday. Pizza, salad.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was good pizza. It was great wood-fired pizza, which was lovely.
Yeah.
It's actually a really, really nice campground, and there's going to be internet this year. So
it's not really an advertising feature though.
Come
have the internet.
But it's like, no, you got to have the internet.
Yeah, no, it's great.
I can't live with that.
So we've got a chocolatier just out of Bathurst. They're joining us. We've got Black Snake's back. Davy Boy, Hop and Clover Brewery is back. Ministry of Mead. So Paul, the Mead man, is there. Paul and I collaborated. Spirit of the Bees. We distilled mead. We're going to have that on pour.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Ben 10 will be there. We're working on with Ben 10. We're going to have some stuff there, some liqueurs, and what else?
You're doing a release as well.
Yeah, I'm releasing. Well, not I'm. Todd and I are releasing 5Y5. Why is it called 5Y5? Because it's 5. It's 5-year-old whiskey.
It's almost 6. It's taken us that long to get it out.
Yeah, but 6Y6 doesn't have a ring.
Have the same ring, so
5Y5 is very Thunderbirdy. 6Y6 just doesn't work. So anyway, we're releasing whiskey for that, which is cool.
You do have a release. Is it when are you doing the Canberra thing?
Oh yeah,
Rebel.
Todd, talk about this weekend. What are you up to, mate?
This weekend I'm going to Canberra, and I'm going to be releasing our next independent bottling of the last 5
Ages series. The Ages series.
That too.
And
all in Canberra this weekend.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm not. I can't make it. But Todd and
he's having a special time at the campsite.
A special time. Yeah.
Special time.
So Todd and Craig Subroots, who's our unofficial brand ambassador, is launching Rebel.
Rebel
is it's actually Rebel's a 6-year-old rum cask. So it's a rum cask
for many years.
Hey, sorry?
It was a complete pain in our backside for a long time.
That's why it's called. That's sort of the picture.
So it's been there for 6 years, is it?
Yeah, and it took 4 years before it started to do anything. That's why it's called Rebel.
That's just the art. Hold on. Here we are.
But it's a vintage. It's not vintage. It's a Western Australia distillery hoochery rum. There it is. Hoochery rum cask. So big release for us, Whiskey Capital this Saturday.
Saturday in Canberra.
Saturday.
So you've actually got a few releases coming.
So January was Tin Shed, two sheds. Yeah, 2 sheds. Independent bottling. So we're into the final stretch of our independent bottlings. So January, February, March, and April, we're releasing 4 independent bottlings, which is called the Age series because they're between 5 and 6 years old. We have 2 sheds, which we released Australia Day, and 2 sheds is
Love that label.
yeah, that is Tin Shed or Smitty Inequity brand. That is independent bottling of Smitty, and then
Have you saved me a bottle of that just while I remember?
Yep.
Good.
In
Excellent.
February at Whiskey Capital, we're releasing Rebel. So Rebel in February. And then in March at the camp, Epic in the Valley, we're releasing 5Y5.
Jesus. Got it
Which-
all going on.
5Y5, you'll notice that's not the right label, but anyway, it's close.
Colours are what?
And then in April, the big one, the finale, is Billy Miles.
Oh, so okay, right, all right. I had that around the wrong way.
Billy Miles is.
Hold on,
God,
patience.
Oh God,
We
Jesus.
are very patiently waiting.
It's going to be a 3-hour episode, I tell you.
Yeah.
Oh,
There you go.
Billy Miles. So
My second
That-
favorite label.
that is the glorious new make spirit from Florio Distillery in South Australia. And then that is it. We have completed our journey of independent bottling that started in 2015.
Jeez.
Pretty
All
cool.
that chapter of our IBs, anyway.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
well. Yeah. So yeah. So that's enough Craftworks promotion.
That's actually the most craft
And-
promotion done in 3 years.
Just to let you know, you want to come and spend a weekend with us at the Lucknow Tavern. There's an empty room. We haven't got a bed in it yet, but we've got one for the chef that's coming on. We'll
don't need
put
a
a
bed.
bed in the other one. So
Hey,
he's
we're
going to
coming, mate.
combination and beers and whiskey.
Let's go.
Beautiful.
Road trip. Time for another road trip.
Yeah,
How's that sound?
absolutely.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was on my cards for the next couple of months. I wanted to come down and see you, so you just given us
Yeah.
another good reason. So
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. We'll come down, guys. Looking forward to it.
Right, mate.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I'm just going to put up the website one last time. There it is, jonesandsmithdistillery.com.au. Please like and subscribe, buy their product. The gin is very reasonably priced for such a beautiful bottle and so many awards. So definitely get into that. Thank you very much for your time, guys. Really appreciate it. We will talk to you soon. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Oh, yeah, those guys that have hung in to the end, thank you very much.
But just to let them know too, we won a bronze and a silver for 2 of our whiskies as well.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Just humble brag.
Straight
Humble brag.
out of the gate too. Straight out of the gate.
Yeah.
That just shows you in New South Wales how fucking good our whiskey is. So the Tasmanians, they're making good whiskey, but the mainlanders are doing okay as well.
Yeah, they're doing
I'm
okay.
starting to think that maybe Seven Valleys are starting to look pretty good. I know that orange is not white in it, but we'll just drag
It's
them
on the edge.
Close enough.
on the edge.
Close. Yeah.
Close enough.
Apparently, you can look if you can see the Blue Mountains from Bathurst, you must be able to see Seven Valleys from Orange.
If you squint and use a telescope, absolutely.
And on that note,
Thank you all. Catch us all next time. Oh, actually, sorry, I do have to say. So in 2 weeks' time, we have who do we have
2 weeks' time, we've got Mick and Mel from Imbue Distillery.
Imbue. Yes.
Yeah, Imbue and gin and other things, but whiskey.
So we actually have locked in
Yeah,
our next episode.
Yeah, we're organized. We're organized. 2023.
I've already got artwork done.
I thought you were going to say I've already got a.
And if you're coming to Whiskey Capital this weekend, come and see me, please.
Oh, yes, Whiskey Capital. Go
Yeah.
see Todd.
Go see Todd.
He'll be
Ask for my little,
Good luck, Todd.
my sneaky tastings under the table, and we'll give you some.
Absolutely.
going.
Oh, Todd.
I need some of them. All right.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Cheers.